Hi, I'm George Popi, and this is Dig In, a show where I make someone dinner and we talk about things. My guest this week is Nick, my fellow co-host on the Two Guys Edit podcast, and he has a bunch of awesome channels, including the Flute channel. Let's dig in. But it should be good to go now.
Cool.
And for once, this camera is finally, it's low. Damn it.
Uh-oh.
So close. That's the thing, it's just because I set it up myself, so it's...
Yeah, I know. It's
the difficulty.
I don't want to mess with the artist's vision
here.
The
the artist's vision? There is no artist's vision.
I'm going to try to respect the rule of thirds here and be just
we can
appealing to...
Oh, we can...
Oh, I'm good. I think the grid is... it's good. Oh, are you want to be dead center?
No, I'm just going to do that third.
Oh, slightly panning.
It's pan. Interesting pan.
Yeah. Oh, interesting pan. Tighten the screws.
Yeah. And I guess I'm dead center. It's always this is the thing. It's like it's nice just setting this up with you now.
We have to
be perfect.
Well, it has to be perfect, or there has to be some sense of uniformity.
Wait, that might not be in the right color. Gonna double check.
Now it's the color.
Yeah,
the couleur.
56K.
All 56K. That's great.
Oh, this is on a slide. Man, this.
No, there you go. Well, now it's good.
Yeah. So you're right now on a keto diet. Mm-hmm. How's that been going? Because
on what now?
The keto diet. Or the keto?
Oh, yeah, keto.
Yeah, keto. Because that's the thing. I was really stressed about making sure that the food was going to be good.
Well, food's always going to be good, I'm sure. I haven't heard anybody from your... I've bumped into some people who've had the pleasure of being on, and no
complaints so far.
No complaints.
No one's gotten food poisoning, so that's a good sign.
Food poisoning is always something that I worry about.
Yeah.
When I cook myself, because I've had it so many times that it's sort of like PTSD a little bit. It's very interesting what you're doing because, especially in the Quebec culture, but even I'm sure, and I don't have cable TV to verify this, but if YouTube has taught me anything, is that these types of shows are on the rise, and trying to make them unique with the different characters and not just following a specific format, because like there's some of these shows that kind of just pick the same people all the time, like really to the T. Especially in television, like there's one that they just do the whole star system in Quebec, like they just pick people from the star system and they actually kind of go in a rotation.
Yeah, you've told me that it basically makes it feel that there's only 10 people that have a voice.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's like, what? There's so many people making cool content.
What I like about especially with stuff like this, and especially Hot Ones as well, because I've been referring a lot to that because it's really an interesting.
You love Hot Ones.
Hot Ones is amazing, and I've been watching since the very beginning, since their humble beginnings, and it's quite interesting how they get reactions out of people. They're taking the press junkie, which is the most boringest thing to do.
Yeah.
Every movie star in the world hates it. They try to make it. Some of them try to make it fun because it's so boring and it's hours and hours of
the same question.
Yeah, over and over from different companies. But with this, they fall around asking personal questions. They do a lot of good research. Their research is really on point to be something that's entertaining.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they do their press junkie thing, and it's literally only 30 seconds. So it's like you get all this amazing amusement and entertainment, and then at the end, you have to be connected with the reason why they're there, selling a book or whatever.
Because they need a reason to be on.
Right. But I haven't seen anybody do it in a bigger format in the way of having multiple guests. On television they do it, but they don't do it in the sense of that they're trying to sell something. It's just because of the star system here and stuff like that. But yeah, multiple people, a multiple party, and it is very interesting as well too. Yeah. I'm sure you can get even more reactions than.
Yeah. No, eventually, I've questioned. Oh, my voice was dropped there. I've questioned, making this where it's not just a one-on-one dinner, but then opening it up more to 3, 4, or 5 people, which would be really interesting because then I'm also bridging, I'm helping people network.
When you're asking about keto,
yeah, no, I love how that.
I
feel like that's just classic, or we just start like one topic,
Yeah.
then go dig into like figuring out like a show, like a concept of something that we can film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's okay. It's really hard. It's really hard. My body's not really working well with it. Not, as opposed, I'm not like cheating or anything like that. It's just, it really. I get really depressed and all those types of things. So it's really because it's your body cycling through this all that fat that you've had in reserve, and it uses so much energy to get rid of it.
Yeah.
That your brain and like your body's just working overtime. Like I work out every morning for a little bit.
You can feel it.
Oh, like usually I could work out for half an hour. I can only work out for 7 minutes to 8 minutes, and I'm like super exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's really really tough.
Oh yeah. How have you been dealing with obviously that balance where like you're just trying to find a way to be healthy? I know like you've been cutting back on saying no to opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Which
Mental health is.
Yeah. So like how, like what was like the point where you realized, hey, I need to like take a step back sometimes like to make sure that my health is good so that I can keep on working on like a high
level.
And then also just like how has that been implemented? Like how you've been dealing with that change?
The change is still in its
Infancy?
yeah, not even infancy. It's in transition. Like it's in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I think there's never the way this type of business works. I think is like you make it your own. You make it your own demise in a way, I guess, right? So as much as you put in, there's a lot of stress, and just saying no now. It's super hard to say no right now. Still, not a monetary value type of thing. It's just my sanity is getting really pushed thin, and I really just want to now. I'm now in a phase now that I want to just transition completely out and just do all the passion projects I have built up that are now full-on projects.
You had this cutest story about how you won her over for the first date.
Yeah. No, we've never even went on a date before. I don't think we went on dates.
Really? Just it kind of happened. Okay.
Yeah, we just hung out a lot. Not the real fancy like dates in the in that sense of the word. Like it's not. Neither of us are charmed in the movie magic of how society dictates or how movies dictate how society should be. We were nothing like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just met in an orchestra, and she was trying to look for something, a piece of music that she was actually trying to learn for a concert, and she had not been able to find that work. And even went to the composer, even went to the person who had premiered this work, and neither of them had it within arm's reach. So first sentence I ever spoke to her basically was this like, I'll find it for you. I'll have it for you in the morning, because I'm like, I know where to find this stuff pretty easily.
Yeah.
And people, they don't know how to use technology. Not just her, she knows how to use technology.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a lot of people, they just
in general.
they just don't know. So that's why people like me do those things. And so I found it for her in the morning, sent it to her by email, and then as she says, that was that impressed her enough to stick around with me for a while. To go back to saying no to things, it's just a matter of now I just want to build up this brand that I'm doing with the food channel and make it to a point that we make an impact. Like we're disrupting. Again, it's that word I want. It's not that word, but
there's some word that we're thinking
disrupt
about.
that world that I've grown up with in the music world that never gave me anything.
Yeah.
I always gave to it and never really returned back to me.
Yeah.
Because that's how that system works. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's
Branding, so important.
yeah, branding's important. And
You've now said that about 5 times.
yeah, and
cameras.
and I think now more than ever, like you have to be so authentic.
Yep.
And people now, especially in video, they try too hard, or they go way too over budget for a project.
Yep.
And they still don't get the views or the critical response that they wanted, right? So
That's because I always wonder where people want that shortcut where they're like, oh, this one video is going to make everything work.
no.
It's like it just takes a long time.
Yeah. It either takes a long time or you're topical, and then being topical will warrant views.
Yeah.
So, or if you're not topical and you're just doing standard something for somebody,
Yeah.
really hard to make an impact.
Yeah. There's a lot of noise. That's the thing. It's just,
Well, there's a lot of noise, yeah. And in order to get through, you have to have a balance of either being completely genuine and having a good budget to market it, or being viral or topical, whatever you want to call it. If you want something to be impactful, just going directly to digital. And being niche is good too. Being niche is pretty good. Niche is like the long game, because with very good content, and you're super niche, it just always increases. You never kind of fall in a hump. Like I've done a couple things that are like very niche, and like it's always growing organically with little to no advertising. So like we've only started advertising recently for the past 2-3, like, standard, what everyone knows about advertising type of advertising, but in the digital form. So it's worked out pretty well.
yeah.
But like in niche, you don't have to really advertise that much because no one else is doing what you're doing. So
I've seen a lot of people get caught in that trap. Even I get caught in that trap, but like right now, like my channel is very much all over the place because I'm not trying to build that audience. I'm just trying to make a sandbox to play in.
Yeah, it's a laboratory.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But it's like the niche. Like if you don't niche yourself, it's just going to be exponentially harder because everyone else. Like, there's so many people who don't understand niching, and like finding like those like few people that will love what you do, and those are like what you want. Instead, like it's a classic startup mentality, and that's how I've always looked at all this stuff. It's like it's startup mentality versus not having a business mentality. And you want to find the like 10 people who are going to love what you produce instead of trying to make content that a million people are just going to be like, eh.
The way I do content now, it's really, I have no, the leap of faith, that type of thing for me, it was, it's sort of been,
It's diminished.
it's diminished for me because I have something that I really respect, I really like data because it just tells you, are you doing, stuff correctly? Are you not? And
you can't really lie with data.
Yeah, you can't lie with data.
Unless you go with the alternative fact mentality,
Right. But
then you're
those are
losing
the
touch
numbers.
with
those are
with
numbers.
reality.
Those are real people. And the leap of faith is it's just that right now it's just this cold hard focus. But there's a lot of congestion next to it and around it, and I have to get rid of that congestion. And it's just not even directly even correlated to those two things that I want to do. They're actually just other projects and other things.
Like you said yes before, like
I've said yes before. And just there's not enough time in the day, and we all fall into that trap.
We do.
So, and our brain can't always. For me, my brain can't focus on one thing anymore for 5 or 6 hours nonstop. I have to have breaks in between.
Yeah.
So,
it's human.
yeah, totally. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's just there's not enough time in the day to get those done. So, yeah, that's really kind of the point. Like, it's just to kind of streamline, and for people who are wanting to do or have channels or websites, whatever you want to call it, and they're in that predicament that they think, oh, where is this going? Really look at that data, whether it's in Google Analytics, whether it's Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, any of those types of things. Trust that data no matter what, how funny it might look. Because sometimes you'll be like, oh, why am I suddenly popular in Tehran? Or why am I suddenly popular in these places? Embrace that.
I look at, whenever I think about like, oh, should I be doing this or not? I look at like the companies that I really love.
Okay.
And when they, like for example, Moo, which is a business card company, the way they sent everything to me, I loved them for it because, it made it very customized. It like made it look like they put thought into me and like they care about me as a client. That's the same way we have to look at viewers. It's like they're paying us with their time. That is the main way we're like, they're like giving us like money in that sense. And then also like you can look at like products and whatever, but that's like the main investment is their time. It's like make individuals sometimes, like find ways to be able to engage with them and make them feel special.
Yeah, just give them your time. It's as easy as just giving them a response back.
Yeah.
What do you see? What do you see truly on the horizon? Like, what's that little speck of that? What's that little speck back there? You're like, fuck, I want to see that. Do you include swearing in this or what?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's the only
This
swear word I'll
this
say.
is explicit channel.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
great.
I know, and because I don't like to censor myself because I swear.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those things my parents hate when I swear,
Oh, yeah.
and they're like, "You're not educated." But I'm like, if by
What?
not using
What?
yeah, it's that whole idea that the proper if you're intelligent enough to like use a word that isn't a swear word.
Intelligence.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a reason why there's a swear word, and there's scientific proof that when you use swear words, you actually have a hit of dopamine because you know you're not supposed to use those words, and it actually makes you more calm. Which is it kind of explains people in traffic when they get really mad and
people get
swearing.
people get associate like people associate. Then there's something I think there's some research about people in general associate swear words to people who are not organized.
Yes.
And it's not true actually. It's actually you're more organized.
Yeah.
In certain aspects.
It's also the way when I look at the fact that the people that are alcoholics the most are usually the ones who are most successful.
Alcoholics?
Yeah, and it's like
I don't
professors in
know,
academia,
yeah.
but like there's a lot of studies where
we can talk a lot
people,
about professor in academia. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I know, but it's there's a weird correlation with like the more education you have, the more likely you are to be using drugs and alcohol on a frequent basis.
Right.
And it's very counterintuitive to like stereotypes on that front.
We're encouraging alcoholism, guys.
It's one of those things that I dream really big, and like I try to ground myself not to think about the future too long.
That's me, devil advocate right
I
there.
know, I love it. It's because I do want to eventually just be a media company and just be able to create content that I think is really cool and support people that I think have interesting voices. And that's it. Like it's telling stories that like growing up, I'm like really lucky that I got to like watch a lot of content. It's one of those things that for me, like movies, TV show, like that was like the thing that like got me through a lot of my childhood. It was escapism at its finest. But like realizing it, like the more I think it was like academia kind of helped me on that front, and like just realizing like the conversations I have, like yeah, I got represented in the media a lot, but I also realized there's like such a missing step between like seeing yourself on TV and like for a lot of people. And like I think there's a lot of content creators right now out there who are filling in that gap, and it's awesome. But I think there is like I want to be filling in that gap between TV and movies and where like a lot of YouTubers are. Like that gap where it's like just make it as professional as possible, and then like keep on breaking down that barrier of like the top quality. Because that's the thing. It's like I see the big studios and they only put out the same kind of content. It's like I was in my elevator today, and like they had a CBC kids program, and it was the classic. There were 3 white characters, a black, like an African American, and also an Asian. I'm just like, this is classic. It's just like you're giving token minorities 2 characters, and then the rest are white. It's Scooby-Doo in a sense. I'm just like, we can do better than this now. It's
Well, oldest tip I ever learned was in the music world was always have multiple lines of income. Always have multiple streams coming in from different places. No matter how small, no matter how vast, it's the mentality, not the amount. It's not how much you make from it. It's the mentality. It's making you hustle and work to get to the point that you've covered so many ground. You've diversified. The branding is also in there. All those types of things are in there, and it's very useful. And it also strikes creativity.
That is our show this week. We're produced and edited by me. Our theme song is by Ashmeta, and our logo by Isabel Lee. For the full podcast, definitely go over to iTunes or Google Play. Special thanks to our guest Nick. Check out the Flu channel on YouTube or Instagram, or for his personal feed, check him out on Alekins Sugar on Instagram. Until next week, have a good one.